My name is Callum Holloway, and this is my report on the Colorado Equal Pay for Equal Work Act. The original Equal Pay Protection Act from 1963 was introduced to prevent uneven levels of pay between individuals performing similar levels of work. These levels are mainly identified through the areas of skill, effort, and responsibility. The previous act does set a benchmark, but it is obvious there is still work that needs to be done. Our World Economic Forum report from only last year ranks the USA 53rd in the world in terms of gender pay equity. This segment from the report showed the USA ranking well below countries with a much lower level of development. An American Association of University Women report ranks Colorado as only the 26th best state in the USA. This bill aims to resurrect some of the loopholes and flaws from the original act. This new act applies to anyone who is working in a position where they feel they are earning less than their counterparts based on their sex or gender identity. Previously, any complaints would need to be submitted to and reviewed by the Director of the Department of Labor and Employment. An amendment on this new bill allows for a complainant to directly pursue a civil suit for damages in a district court. The amendment also fixes a loophole from the 1963 Act where unequal pay can be justified through a seniority system, merit system, quality or quantity of work, or finally, a differential based on any factor other than sex. This extremely vague clause allows for endless amounts of excuses to be used. I found multiple examples of this clause being exploited at the expense of the complainant in court. Factors completely unrelated to the job or employment had been successfully used to justify unequal pay rates. There are a few other details in this new bill that affect the rights and responsibilities of either party. One change is the addition of rights for employees to freely discuss their compensation. This bars employers' ability to make the employees sign non-disclosure forms regarding their wage, and also bars any retaliation from the employer. Another interesting component I found was a recommendation from employment lawyers for employees to make sure that there was complaints submitted to HR prior to taking legal action. This is not a legal requirement, but would significantly strengthen a case when there are records of complaints and no following action. Another notable change is for better transparency in job posting and promotion. Employers must, now, to the best of their ability, make all opportunities of promotion known to all employees on the same calendar day. The employer is also now responsible to disclose the wage rates for any new job openings. When an employee decides to take action, it may not be possible for them to access the payroll files for definite proof, and therefore an affirmative defense is required by the employer to prove that they were not guilty of the accusations and that all pay in their business was indeed fair and equitable. Inequality may be addressed through the Director of the Division of Labor as in the previous statutes and acts, but now can also be determined directly through the means of filing a suit and pursuing justice through the court. In order to maintain compliance as an employer, record keeping is one of the most vital components. And a company with accurate records can use these successfully to protect themselves. By maintaining accurate and up-to-date records, they are able to prove that their employees were indeed paid fairly and equally if it is ever questioned. This bill states failure to keep records can be considered evidence that the violation was not made in good faith. This is what makes small businesses so vulnerable, especially as many small businesses do not have a dedicated HR department. This bill now opens the door for some pretty hefty penalties. It allows for aggrieved individuals to claim back pay for the entire time the violation ensued, up to 3 years, as well as affected employees' legal costs and even a fine of between $500 to $10,000, which for a small business the combination of those three is a pretty large unanticipated cost. And a cost as high as this could put them in financial and legal jeopardy if they do not have the available funds in order to reimburse the affected parties. The easiest way to avoid these claims of pay discrimination is by accurate record keeping. It's the most simple way. If you can prove that everything you've done has been equal and just, and if there is any difference in pay affecting the protected groups, then it must be able to be strongly justified by a circumstance of seniority, merit, or quality quantity of production. Thank you.